Hi, hello students, welcome to Indian Tech Guru for you. So let us move on to the last topic. The last topic in the second unit is performing the input output operation using the assembly language code. So compared to the previous lines of code, it is somewhat easier. Okay. So what is meant by input operation? So the input operation is nothing but whenever you type something on the keyboard, so that particular character must be stored in the accumulator register. So that is input operation. What is meant by output operation? The output operation is to display the content on the monitor or print the content on the printer. So for let us see the first operation. The first operation is we have taken a label CIF and the first command is SKI. SKI means skip if input flag is on. SKI means skip if input flag is on. Okay. So it is going to check the input flag. So and if the flag value is 0, so once again it is going to branch unconditional to CIF and then check the SKI value, input flag value. So if the flag value is once again 0, go to the loop. So it will continuously loop like this. So until unless the flag value is 1. Okay. So if the flag value is 1, then it is going to come to this statement, INP statement. So if flag is 1, then input character. So INP means input character and clear flag. Okay. So whenever flag is equal to 1, then input the character and clear the flag to once again 0. Okay. So with this operation, the input character is retrieved. Then perform the out operation. So out operation means out information and clear flag. So why we are using out in input operation? Because we don't know whether whatever we pressed in the keyboard, whether it is correctly stored or not. To make sure that it is correctly stored or not, so we are displaying once to ensure the correctness. Okay. And STSCHR, store the character, whatever the character we have produced, store that value into CHR, in a variable CHR. Finally halt the computer. Okay. So this is how we are going to write the program to input one character into the computer system. So similarly, to output one character, the similar code will be there. Load character, load CHR, the content is available in whatever the content available in CHR, load it into accumulator register, ASC assignment CHR. Next here we are going to define COF label. So and check output flag. If output flag is 0, branch unconditionally to COF and check once again go to COF. So this will be in continuous loop until unless flag is equal to 1. If flag is equal to 1, then output the character stored in accumulator register. So output means output the information and clear the flag. Output character and clear flag. Okay. So once the output is completed, then we are going to clear the flag, once again set it to 0, then it is going to check for the next character and finally halt the computer. Okay. So what is the content of CHR? Initially the content of CHR is 0057 hexadecimal, which is equivalent to the character W. So that is why if you execute this program, what will be displayed on the monitor? Character W will be displayed on the monitor. Okay. So, in this program what will be displayed? Whatever the value we pressed on the keyboard, that will be displayed on the screen. The next topic is writing the subroutine code to input 2 characters and pack into a word. So, what is the necessity? The necessity is we have seen that the accumulator register contains 16 bits. However, a character needs only 8 bits. So, for that purpose what we are doing, from 0 to 7 we are storing the character, whatever the character we have, and all the remaining bits from 8 to 15 we are filling with zeros. Okay. So, instead of that, now we can accommodate 2 characters, because one character is stored in 8 bits. So, we can accommodate 2 characters in 16 bits and pack those 2 characters as a single word. So, that is done using this particular program, so that we can save the memory. So, how we are going to perform? So, for that purpose define a subroutine in2. So, remember that this is the only subroutine code. This is only subroutine code. So, not the main program code. Main program code is not there. So, we have assumed we have written the main program code, and inside of the main program we have called the subroutine starting with in2, and we have entered into the subroutine. Okay. So, we are defining a field FST and calling SKI. That is the same logic what we have seen in the character input. So, SKI means skip if input flag is on, and then branch to once again FST. So, whenever the input flag becomes 1, then perform the INP, out the INP. So, this code is fixed for inputting a character. After inputting a character, the character will be stored in locations from 0 to 7. Here the character is there. However, so we need to store one more character. To make sure that we need to store one more character, so we need to shift this particular character from 0 to 7 to 8 to 15, so that the 0 to 7 will all become zeros, so that we can store a new character here. So, for that purpose what we are doing, we are calling sh4, subroutine 2 times, sh4 subroutine 2 times. So, the code for sh4 we have already seen in the previous class. So, this is the code for sh4. Okay. So, that is why this is the implementation that is needed to actually shift the bits. Okay. So, what we are doing, we are shifting the bits 13 to 16 to left and making them 0. Okay, and making them 0. So, this is the sh4. In the previous video we have discussed about this code. So, if you have any doubt, you can watch that video once again. Now, this BSA sh4 is going to call that particular subroutine and perform and clear the bits from 0 to 3, and then once again we are going to perform the same operation to clear the bits from 4 to 7. So, from 0 to 7 the bits will be cleared. So, once the bits are cleared, we need to input the second character. So, for that purpose, so the same code is repeated, branch unconditional to SCD. So, implement the SKI command. So, what is meant by SKI? Skip if input flag is on. So, whenever a flag is 1, then input the second character. output the second character for whether it is entered correctly or not for testing, and then branch unconditionally in to I. So, what does it mean? So, once again branch unconditional to in2 for reading next two characters. Okay. So, these two characters are stored successfully in the accumulate register. Now, in the accumulate register, so previously how we were storing the characters, we were storing the first character from 0 to 7, and we were making all the remaining bits zeros. However, now using this program, how we can store the characters in accumulate register? We can store the two characters, one character from 0 to 7, another character from 8 to 15, so that memory is saved, isn't it? So, like that we are going to perform, we are going to implement the character manipulation. So, let us see one more program. This program is a program to compare two words. How to compare two words? So, the content is available in word number 1, word number 2. We need to compare these two words. So, whether they are equal or not equal. So, we are going to use an indirect way to compare these two words. So, what is that indirect way is, so we are going to make the first word's 2's complement. We are going to make the first word 1's 2's complement, and then add this content to word 2. So, if they are equal, what should be the result? The result should be 0, because it is a negative number, it is a positive number, the value is same, then the result will become 0. For example, take a word 1011. So, now what is the 2's complement of this particular value? 1 0 1 0. Now, add these two, 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0, discard, carry. So, what is the result? All zeros. So, if you convert the same number into its 2's complement and add with the same number, then we are going to get the all zeros. So, using that technique we can compare whether the given words are equal or not. Okay. So, see here what is the code: load word number 1, complement accumulate register. So, load word number 1 means, so load the content into accumulate register, and then complement the value of accumulate register, increment the value of accumulate register. Now, the accumulate register will contain the 2's complement of W1, 2's complement of WD1, and now add WD2. So, add the content of word 2 to the 2's complement of word 1. Then, if the result is 0, then branch unconditional to equal. So, what does it mean? Both word 1 as well as word 2 are equal. If the result is not 0, then branch unconditional to unequal. So, if the result is not 0, what does it mean? Both are not equal. Like this we can verify, we can write a program in assembly code to compare two words. The last topic is program interrupt. So, we have seen what is an interrupt and what is the purpose of the interrupt. So, whenever an interrupt occurs, what we need to do? We need to execute a special subroutine known as the interrupt service routine. How this interrupt service routine will work? The sequence of steps are: save the status of the CPU initially, and then identify the source of interrupt from where the interrupt has come. After that, service the device whose flag is set. So, from which of the device the interrupt has occurred, determine that, and then provide the service for that particular device. So, what does it mean? Execute the interrupt service routine. After executing the interrupt service routine, restore the contents of the processor registers and flags, come back to the instruction cycle and start executing the instruction cycle. So, once again turn on the interrupt facility, and return to the running program. Load program counter to the interrupted program. So like this, these are the sequence of steps that are need to be performed in case of the occurrence of interrupt. So which we already discussed in the previous classes. So now, so here what we are going to do is, we are going to see a program to implement the concept of the interrupt service routine. Okay. So this is the assembly language code for implementing the interrupt service routine. So now let us move on to the code for the interrupt service routine. So here you can see 0. We have already discussed that always in the 0 location the return address will be stored. The return address of the main program will be stored, and in the 1 location the branch to service routine will be stored. Okay, branch unconditional to service routine will be stored. So these two are fixed. These two are fixed, and this is the actual program. Now let us start executing the actual program. CLA. So what is meant by CLA? Clear accumulator. Clear accumulator, and then ION, turn interrupt facility on. So now the instruction cycle is being executed. What is the instruction cycle? Z is equal to x plus y. Load x, add y. So before actually storing the result in Z, an interrupt occurs. Now the interrupt has occurred. So whenever the interrupt occurred, then what to do? We need to save the next location address in 0, ZRO. So here 104, location 104 should be saved, because after the interrupt service routine it needs to come back to here 104. Okay. So and execute the interrupt service routine, which is available in 1, location 1. Okay. So branch unconditional to SRV. So this is the interrupt service routine. So whenever we are going to perform the interrupt service routine, we need to make sure that the content of accumulate register, whatever it is there, the content of accumulate register must be preserved. So because whenever you come to the come back to the instruction cycle, so we need to restore the content of the accumulate register. So that is why we are storing the content of accumulate register into SAC, a temporary variable SAC. Okay, it contains the accumulate register content, and perform the circulate write operation. So after performing circulate write operation, store the content of expansion bit in SE. This is also a temporary variable, so in which we are going to store the expansion bit, and then the actual logic applies. The actual logic is, so when interrupt occurs, so whenever either the input device or the output device interrupts the CPU to perform either an input operation or an output operation. So check for the input flag first. Check for the input flag first. If the flag is off, then check NXT flag. So if input flag is 0, then go for the output flag. If the input flag is set as 1, then perform the input operation, and for prompting perform the output operation and store it in input buffer. Store the value in the location PT1. Okay. So whatever the input character, store it into the input buffer. After storing, increment PT1, increment PT1. So if once again the input character is there, continue the same operation. So if input flag is not there or input operation is completed, then check for the output flag SKO, and if output flag is off, then we can directly branch unconditional to EXT. So it is going to come here. However, if the output flag is on, then we need to load the content from PT2 from the buffer pointer 2 and load it into the accumulator register and print or display on the screen. Okay. So now increment the pointer to increment and skip if 0. So if it is 0, then skip the next instruction. If it is not 0, then continue. Like that you can print number of characters. Okay. If the flag is off, then you are going to move to the exit. So this is this code is going to represent the exit. So in exit, what we need to do, whatever the content we stored in accumulator register temporarily, we need to restore the content. So for that purpose, load the content in SE to accumulator register, restore value of accumulator register. So that is the E bit, and then perform the CAL operation. So because previously we performed the CAR operation, now perform the CAL operation, circular left operation, and then load SAC. Load the content of SAC to accumulator register. So here AC of 1 means only the expansion bit, here the complete accumulator register, and then turn interrupts on. So and then branch unconditional to ZRO indirect address. So in ZRO, what is the indirect address? 104. Now come back to 104 and start executing the content that is available in 104. So as we have already restored the content of accumulator register, now the AC will contain the previous value. So as well as we are going to start executing the program from where it has stopped. So that is store the content result in Z. Program returns here after interrupt. So like this we are going to execute an interrupt service routine and perform the operations accordingly. Hope you understand the logic. That's all for now.